Alright guys, today we are talking about angle relationships, and I think this will be a pretty short one for us. Hopefully my drawing tool works. It's been kind of hit and miss today. But let's go ahead and get into it with vertical angles. Um, there's everything from the previous recording that you guys didn't get to see. I'm just going to close that and try it again. Let's see. So vertical angles, basically, and you might have saw this when it popped up a second ago, is we have two lines that intersect each other. They don't necessarily have to be perpendicular or anything, but what it's saying is that two angles that are across the vertex from each other, so like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, those are congruent. So we could say the measure of, say, angle 1, and then the congruent symbol, the equal sign with a little squiggle above it, could say measure of angle 1, congruent symbol, measure of angle 3, something like that. Let's go over to adjacent angles. So two angles that are next to each other and share a common side. So for example, if we have something that looks like this, angle 1 and angle 2 there are adjacent to each other because they are next to each other and they share this ray or side in the middle. Complementary angles are any two angles whose sum is 90. So something like this could be a good example. I'll show just kind of a different one. So let's go ahead and assume that's 90, and let's say there's a ray that goes out here, and that's 1 and that's 2. Angle 1 and angle 2 would be complementary angles, so they add up to 90. So kind of how that could be used in an example, let's say if you had a prompt that said angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary and angle 1 is 70 degrees, find angle 2. Well, you could then subtract from 90 and figure out that 2 would have to be, say, 20. So knowing these vocabulary words are important. You guys can probably hear the cats meowing again, I don't know. We're bulk recording today, so who knows if they made appearances or not. Supplementary angles, very similar, except they add up to 180. So let's say 180 is going to be a straight angle. Let's say we have a ray going over here, and this is 1 and 2. Angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles because they form a straight angle, a straight line. They add up or have a sum of 180. And then lastly, a linear pair. Save this one for last because it uses supplementary and adjacent in its definition, where supplementary, those could technically be two angles that are not connected. A linear pair does need to be adjacent, so they need to share that side, kind of like what I showed you originally for the supplementary. So 1 and 2 that time. And they do need to form a straight line. They're adjacent, they're supplementary. So this is a linear pair. This is also a linear pair, but just being supplementary doesn't mean they have to share that side. It could be two separate things like that. So just know there is some slight difference. A linear pair is just an adjacent to supplementary kind of squished together. Okay, we'll call that one here a pretty short one, and we'll see you guys next time.